All right, so I'm sitting here with Malachi O'Connor. He is drummer extraordinaire for Forrest Frank. They are on the Child of God tour, and we just have a few moments. Elevation Rhythm is just, I think they finished their sound check, and before dinner time, we're just going to ask some questions. For those of you who saw our IG sticker, we have your questions coming up in just a few moments. But Malachi, thanks for joining us. In fact,
Yeah.
I'll say it again the other way around. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's an honor, absolute honor.
Yeah, man. So there were some questions that came in, but I ask this question pretty much all the time anyway. But for those of you who maybe don't know Malachi, would you, in a nutshell, tell us who you are, where you're from, and kind of your upbringing in music, and what led you to where we are today?
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, guys? My name is Malachi O'Connor. I'm a good, wise old man of 22 years old. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I've been with Forrest for the past year, ever since his initial Child of God tour was called on for that. And yeah, I'm from Los Angeles, California, like I said. I've been playing drums for the past 10 years, and I just grew up like everyone else at church. I was in junior high when I first started, and I was just in love with music, and I would literally stay up until 3, 4 a.m. just listening to a new song I found, and I would just play it over and over and over. My mom probably didn't even know. She probably knew I thought I was asleep or something. But yeah, sorry, Mom. I was definitely awake. So, yeah, and I would just listen to what I heard, and I would just go to the drum set the next day, and I would try to see if, I could play something. And over time, I started to apparently maybe get better. And then once my youth pastor, maybe heard me play for the first time, he was like, all right, get up there, start playing.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I just started playing youth group, and then a couple years after that, or maybe a year after that, I was asked for by like the worship pastor of the whole church, who is now like the biggest guy who's influenced me so much.
Wow.
And has shepherded me so much throughout my life. Yeah, so he took me under his wing and just kind of taught me everything he knew, and just fostered such a good environment for me and a bunch of my best friends growing up, just to be able to show up every Sunday morning and play music and just have fun and worship, God together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then, I just fell so in love with playing drums and being able to have these awesome moments that, just really just invigorate the heart, and just really moves people, it's just such a moving thing. So, yeah, so I was kind of all in about just playing music forever when I was like 16 or 17. That's when I told my parents, I was like, hey, I think I want to be a rock star for a living. And
How did that go?
they are by far the most supportive people about this. And it's awesome because, again, like, I just was raised in such a good Christian household where they put the Lord first in everything that they did.
Yeah.
And they knew, and they trusted him with all their finances, with, their work, with, the situations that they lived in. And they were so aware and honest that they weren't perfect people. We're all broken people who need of a savior.
Yeah.
And they put that on display for me. So, yeah, for me specifically, I was 10 years old, 2012, with June 3rd when I was saved, just on a Sunday morning classroom.
Come on.
And yeah, so I mean, just having great examples of just, of leadership, of just pointing people towards Christ. That's what they were, and they trusted him through everything. So even when, I was like, hey, I want to go into a job that doesn't have the best, financial security there is,
Right.
And it's a very hard field to get into.
Yeah.
It's a very competitive field to get into. It's just much like a sport, they were very, very supportive over it, you know, and they knew how much, you know, my love for playing music was and for drumming was, and they were so able to, you know, they trusted me as they trust him. So
That's cool. So we'll get to how you got connected with Forrest Frank in a second.
Yeah.
But maybe there's someone watching who they have these desires perhaps, or maybe they feel even a call to pursue music and you know, in a professional way, you know, to glorify God, or maybe just not
Yeah.
to do it as
That's
a
real.
job. Right, real life job. But maybe they don't have support of their entourage, their family, their friends, whatever. Any advice or encouragement to send their way, like do this, or this is the kind of mindset you have to adopt?
I think always coming out of a perspective of understanding for where people are coming from.
Yeah.
Like I remember, and knowing that the Lord's going to use it in any way. Like I know for me, it was one of the sound guys at our church. That's a great guy over there. Awesome, man. One of our sound guys at our church was in the professional scenes for years. He took me and my best friend to lunch one day, and he was like, hey, I know you guys are passionate and want to do music, but these are the upsides, and here's are all the downsides about it. And he just kind of laid it out and was very honest to us. And he was like, hey, you know, if you guys are going to commit, you have to commit to it.
Wow.
So then it was much easier when, you know, you had to tell it to maybe one of your friends' parents and they're kind of looking at you weird and stuff, or whatever. Or I think it's, you know, you just have to be confident in what you're doing, and you have to, I think if you do your research and you know your plan and you know where the Lord's leading you and, you know, where he's like guiding you towards, it gives you so much more peace in the decision that you're making with it than, you know, kind of being like, I don't know what's gonna, you know. So I think it's always just to be able to have just confidence in that, because again, like if you're gonna commit to do something, you know, as so vulnerable and changing as what this industry is, like you have to be able to, you know, be able to adapt and be able to commit to whatever there is, you know, needed. So
yeah, and I like what you said earlier when we were standing around in the arena part.
Yeah.
And maybe if I'm gonna try to extract it again out of you, but when you said like there's like a threshold, and then once you kind of with your skill pass that threshold, then it's like your character is what counts.
Oh yeah.
Is that how you like? I don't want to.
So the music business is like, there is a level of playing that you 1,000,000% need to hit. Like you have to show up to a rehearsal and know your parts. You have to show up to rehearsal and be able to, on a quick notice, get a great sound coming out of the drums and have your playing be on the level that you could show up to any drum set it up with for a couple minutes and play excellently. So you have to know that. You have to get a great band sound and be able to listen to the players and be able to communicate very, very well with one another.
Yeah.
You have to, again, know your parts. You have to know where, okay, in a live setting, this is what I need to, you know, express, and what I need to, you know, how it's going to translate.
Yeah.
Because a record and a live setting are two different things, you know, listening to it on your phone or listening to it on a huge PA with, you know, 7,000 other people.
Yeah.
So it's having that and knowing those skills, those are essential. You need those, you know, no questions asked. Once you get those, that right there is the threshold, like I was talking about, of, okay, now your abilities, of course, the zeal of getting better at your instrument will always be there.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you earlier too, like I record off a GoPro just to go back in the bus every night and just watch the show again and see what I need to get better at playing, you know? Because I have such a hunger and thirst and for getting better at my instrument. So that's kind of the lay groundwork of like your technical skills. Outside of that, it is absolutely just your character and who you are as a human, you know? because this music industry, it's not objective. You're not, you're not trying to play a sport or anything. You're not trying to meet a deadline at
Right.
another job. The thing that you're doing and your goal is to move hearts.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're doing it here in a place where there's a spiritual weight to this place
that's
tonight, or if you're in the most secular pop scene, playing for, some rapper, there's still a need for your character to be there,
Yeah.
and you still have to just be kind to people. You still have to be loving. You still have to be understanding to who anyone is, like it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if you agree with people. It doesn't matter, you have to get yourself and what you want and what you need just kind of out of your brain.
Right.
You're here to serve people.
Yeah.
So that's mainly it. Outside of that, there is the skill of being a professional musician, which is not outside. It's, of course, the hour and a half or the 90 minutes you'll see me play there, but then it's the 22 and a half hours of outside of that,
Right.
which is you have to be insanely patient, because being a professional musician is just waiting, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Outside of that, you're just waiting around to, even in a rehearsal space, people have to get their guitar tones right. People have to get, the arrangement, settled in. People have to make changes. People, are waiting. People are waiting for their food to get there, all that stuff. And you're just waiting there. And you have to still be on top,
Yeah.
because the minute they're like, all right, let's hit up,
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to be so precise, and still, you can never phone it in. You can't be, clocked out somewhere else. You have to be, engaged. So of course, patient. You have to be you still gotta be on time. You can't miss a bus call. You can't, do anything that, you can't have bad hygiene. You have to
Yes.
brush your teeth every morning or whenever you can. Take a shower every once in a while. If you're the type of guy that sweats a lot.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys. I'll always take a shower after my show. So
Good to know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if any of you guys want to know.
That's cool. So just connect now the dot to Forrest Frank. Like, so from youth group, playing at church, and to now being on like this giant tour.
Yeah, it's
how does
a
that
big
go
difference. All right, so let me try and build the whole bridge right here. So I committed to playing music, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to go to college. Music school's too expensive. And I graduated 2020, so that was the year of COVID.
Yeah.
So that's when I graduated high school. So for me, I was like, not realistic going to college right now.
Yeah.
And so what I kind of did was I just kind of tried to grind my teeth in playing out, within Los Angeles. If there was a bar on Monday night that, needed someone, like I would, one of my buddies who had this project would ask me to go and play with them,
Nice.
and it was great, and I learned so much, and those were just awesome times, and it's not about, how many people are there or what's happening, because the reality of that stuff is like, you will absolutely play stuff. I've played at bars and venues and stuff like that where it's like more people on stage than there are in the crowd, and it's brutal and
Yeah.
stuff, but that's not what it's about. It's about, just music, and it's about the camaraderie that you're able to have with it,
Right.
how much fun you're able to have, how fulfilling it is. So I did a little bit of that, just to understand and know how to play, outside of a church scenario and stuff. But I mean, my biggest thing I did was I played at a bunch of summer camps. I did 2 full summers, which is like a 10-week thing.
Yeah.
At this one
Wow.
that's more up in, it's called Hume Lake, if any of you guys know of that place. But it's up in like Central California. So I did 2 full summers. I did like a full winter. Hate the cold. Absolutely hate the cold. But man, was that an experience of not just playing, because you get a morning session, a night session, 5 days in a row.
Right.
Times 10,
Wow.
that's 108 sessions overall.
Wow.
That's I've done the math. It's 108 sessions over the whole summer. So that you already have so much experience of playing a set over and over and over again. And then you get off stage and it's games time. You got to go set up.
Yes.
You got to go run.
Yeah.
There's not enough time. Like that, you think this is dumb, but those are the skills you need to do to be a professional musician. You have to know, and you have to, nothing's beneath you either,
Right.
Like we're not, I'm not in a huge band or anything, I get hired to play drums. So it's like anything that they want is what I'm going to be able to provide for someone.
Right.
So I did that for a couple of years, and then for me, I was like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm, in the summer camp scene. I'm playing at church. This is awesome. But again, my heart is to play, pop music.
Yeah.
So I did what, any other younger cat would do, which was like just go on Instagram and message all the, drummers and guitar players and music directors that, I thought were cool, and, maybe one of them would, answer me. So I did that for a long time, and it takes a while. And I'll say this, is to be a professional musician, most people will move to Los Angeles, they'll move to LA, right? And they'll be like, all right, this is my time. This is my time to go and do this,
Yeah.
And they'll be there for a couple months, and they'll be like, oh, I have no gigs.
Crickets.
I'll just move back. And they're like, man, I tried, but it didn't work. So the people that make it in Los Angeles, and the people that make it in the music industry are the ones who are willing to wait, and who know, again, who are confident in, hey, this is exactly what I'm gonna do. And for me, I was like, towards the end, right before the Lord was gracious enough to give me sweet opportunities, I was so set on like, hey, it doesn't matter. I could be 30 years old and still in the same position I want.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I want, and I'm so certain and confident that this is my calling. So literally, it takes a long time, but it's so much sweeter.
Come on.
Everything that's good is worth waiting for.
Yeah.
So after that, I got a message I messaged one of a music director out in Los Angeles, who runs a music direction company over there, and he liked my stuff for whatever reason, and we got coffee, and we just kind of clicked, just because our quote unquote vibes are similar and stuff.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any opportunities for me. So for me, I was like, hey, I'm here. This is what I want to do. I want to be like you someday. Like, can I like be your personal assistant or something? So
Let's go.
so that's what I did for a while, for like 6 months, was I literally just got him coffee, ran chords around rehearsal spaces or whatever he needed, If he was really in a tight pinch, like go to his house, walk his dog, do his laundry. Like, it sounds, ridiculous, but I was like, man, this is so sick,
Right.
Because like I get to be a part of this, in some way, in some capacity. So yeah, and then from that, he trusted me, So when the time came that he was like, hey, I got this gig like for this fall. You're opening up. It's for this pop R&B artist. His name is Henry Veris. Like, you're opening up for this bigger artist named Jesse Murph. Like, it's this big old 2-month tour, like 35 shows.
Wow.
Around the U.S. Like, would you be interested? And I'm like, what's it look like? He's like, you'll be in a van. It's going to be you and 3 other guys. And you're going to be like the playback guy and drummer and tour manager and music director, like after we leave,
Wow.
And I was like, I'm so sold.
Yeah.
Like that right there is kind of the attitude that you want towards, going into whatever. Like, you want to be able to be like, hey, this is exactly what I want to do. So, so from there, I did that tour, and it was long, and it was so much fun. And from there, like, he trusted me to do other opportunities. Like, literally the week before I started that tour. Okay, oh, sorry. This was the most long-winded answer.
I like it.
So this is how I got connected with Forrest.
Yeah.
It's the week before that tour. Forrest was in a band called Surfaces before he committed to his, like, solo Christian stuff.
Yeah.
And he, their drummer who was the most awesome dude. I love him. But he wasn't able to make those shows for, like, a couple of, like, festival dates.
Yeah.
So he called me, like, the music director called me a couple of, like, weeks before. He was like, hey, we're in a pinch, but we have this artist called Surfaces, and they need a drummer for this. Are you in? And for me, coming from, like, the background and group of people I was in, Surfaces was, like, the biggest band there was.
Yeah.
Like, there was all my friends listened to. Like, I was, like, the biggest, you know. So I was like, if you asked me 6 years ago, like, oh, name, like, your dream artist to play with, they would have been, like, one of the 3 people.
Wow.
Other 2 being, like, I don't know, like Charlie Puth and Justin Bieber,
Right.
you know, or something like that. But so yeah, so I played a couple shows with them. That's where I met Forrest, and after that, like, maybe that next April or May, his music director called me again. It was like, I felt like I was about to burp or something. My bad.
All good.
Yeah, so it was after the Henry tour, and then after, like, 6 months after, so this is April or May of 2024, last year.
Yeah.
I got the call from Forrest's music director, and it was like, hey, like, we have this tour coming up, it's a couple dates, like, would you be interested? Of course I'm interested, dude. This right here is what I'm here to do, you know, like, this is what I love doing. So that's kind of how I got connected with Forrest, and, you know, kind of got in with that scene. And that past tour was amazing, and it only ushered it into, you know, doing this tour, which is absolutely, like, it's just mind-boggling, the places and just the moments that we're able to, you know, experience with people.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you might feel like that was a long-winded answer.
It definitely was.
And it was, I'll acknowledge that. But I think it's cool to see, like, the trajectory of, because when you said this to your parents at 16, 17 years old, it's not like you could map out, you know, the next steps.
Yeah.
So it's like a journey of trusting God to open the doors that he wants you to walk through. And I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you.
So I think it's a good time to transition to some questions that came in. The first one I'll start with is from Jackson Hadding.
Yeah.
Question is, Malachi's favorite production person?
Dude, it's him. It's gotta be him. I was working with him at a summer camp a couple years back, and
Oh, no way.
he got a great opportunity too to move to Nashville, and he's now starting to tour too, which
Sweet.
is really sweet to see.
Good. Okay, another question. Ashley R. Tremblay says, ask Malachi how he got so good at his chops.
All right. So I would listen to a bunch of my favorite drummers, and I'll name you 3 right now. One, his name is CJ Thompson. If you type in CJ Thompson drums on YouTube, insane drummer. The second one is Jamal Moore. Incredible player. Like, also just Jamal Moore drums on YouTube. They're kind of from the East Coast, like Washington, D.C. area. And then the third one is the late, great Aaron Spears.
Yeah.
And he was my biggest influence on the kit, and just inside and out, just an awesome guy, and was a huge inspiration. So I would listen to them on YouTube and just watch what they're doing, and I would just internalize that in the best way I could, you know?
Right.
Just to be like, oh, that shape kind of looks like that, or maybe I could try that. And then I would go to the drum set and try to mess around with that and see, like, oh, does that work? Or I know Aaron's a lefty, so if I do like a left hand lead with, you know, with like that or something. Maybe that would be cool. And so it's just like starting super super slow with all these chops, and then slowly but surely speeding stuff up. So when I started playing chops, like or if I started like playing like stretching out on over a song, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, it was at like 70 BPM and I was doing like 30-second notes, or 60 BPM I was doing 30 seconds. Whereas like over the years, like you would gradually like go up like 10 beats faster, or like oh sweet, now I can do something cool at 90 beats, or oh sweet 110, or oh I'm ripping 120 now. This is starting to my hands are starting to hurt. So that's how you get chops. It's just doing the same thing, just the fundamentals over a long period of time.
Yeah, nice. Next one is from John Augusta 30. Shoe of choice when drumming.
Sambas, baby. These, for some reason, it's any skate shoe works, but like Air Force One works, Vans work. I practice in Vans at home, but Sambas are just like the cool thing to wear nowadays, and they're like kind of flat, so like whenever you're hitting the kick drum, it just feels right. I have like New Balances, like those chunky New Balances that I wear too, and like I'm able to get out what I need to get out with those.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. How do you keep a childlike heart in worship and faith? CYMK Yellow asks.
CYMK Yellow asks.
Yeah.
That's sick. How do I keep a childlike heart, you say? I think it's understanding and knowing that all of our, what is it, Proverbs 16:9, where it's like the heart of man, like he plans his way, but who actually guides us through, who's actually like step by step is leading us is the Lord, and I think it's understanding and knowing that to be the fundamental truth of what we're doing here on the planet. Is like we might think that we're so puffed up and so knowledgeably about where we're going or what we're doing, and so confident in that, but every step we're taking is actually just the Lord leading us and guiding us through that. And being able to understand and know that truth is, I think, the most essential part of knowing that, hey, we're just like kids getting led by our parents, That's our Heavenly Father. So
that's good, man.
Yeah.
Another question from John Augusta again.
Oh.
What is loudest in your IEM mix?
The click drum, baby. the click drum,
click
track, and the kick drum also. That's why I probably said it. Is out of any of my drums is the kick, because like I could hit the snare and I could actually feel it through my body, but toms are like that. Cymbals, like I don't need to hear all too much, but the kick drum is kind of something that like I want to hear that attack and have it go through my ears. So click and kick.
Click and kick. Click and kick.
Yeah.
Tongue twister. I like that.
Kick and click.
How do you learn these songs for tour? What kind of in-ears do you use? From Swarenberg?
Yeah, sick. So we do a rigged rundown, so you guys also saw them.
Yeah.
But I have them right here anyway, so I have ultimate ears. They're just the molded IEMs. Like I go to an audiologist, there's a million of them.
Yeah.
And you get them molded, and they're great, and they block off all the sound in the world. What was the other part of that question?
I moved on. Oh, how do you learn these songs for tour?
Oh, you get like a folder on like Google Drive or whatever the heck they use, and you learn. They'll like send you like the drum parts that are like soloed and stuff.
Wow.
And your job as the professional musician is to interpret it in the best way in like a live setting. So there might be like a hi-hat thing that's going on, like a trap thing, and then there might be like some organic like hi-hat stuff that's going on underneath, and it's up to you to know which one that you're gonna play that's gonna sound better, like in a live arena. So how do you do that? I think just over repetition over time. And is there a right answer? No. It's just up to the artist's ear, up to the music director's ear, and it's up to you.
That's cool. Question from Family Albano. What are your drum endorsements?
Low key, and if you guys want to know, the reality of it is I don't have any. It's cool. I mean, I could kind of play whatever I want.
Yeah.
There's some companies that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm using their stuff. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they could, they can shun me for the rest of my life, and I'll still use their stuff. But that's the thing about drum endorsements. Like, I could get like all worked up about, oh, I need to get this or do that or whatever. But
Right.
it's all just about knowing the people who run those companies. So
Yeah.
one day I'll get
One
there.
day. I think the last question I'll read from here, and then
Yeah.
I'll ask you one last one.
Perfect.
Is from Daniel Botello 3. Talk about composure during a big event, and if something goes unexpectedly wrong mid-show.
Oh my goodness. All right. So again, you just have to have like a Mamba mindset of relaxation, and it's hilarious to say, but it's also really true of like where you're going into this. And again, like, one thing that will help you with nerves is preparation, over years of time of getting good at drums.
Yeah.
That's gonna help. But it's also like preparing for the exact like gig that you're about to play, and for the show, and making sure that, oh, you got enough sleep the day before, oh, and you ate a good meal, like we're going to do it right now. Like, all that stuff's going to help you, calm yourself down. Because the goal of, for really anything, like, the more relaxed you are, the better you will perform, usually. Like, that's how it tends to be. So just keeping your calm and nerves down. And I think after time, like, enough stuff will go wrong, throughout your life with playing at shows and stuff.
Yeah.
That, like, let's say, for example, like, if we're playing a song and the tracks go out, or you're starting to hear like the tracks glitch and stuff, and you're hearing like, oh, why is it at like 8-bit right now, or something like that. And then you see, like, you look to your left and like the playback guy's like just going insane, and like he's trying to fix it and work it out. And then like maybe the artist will turn around and look at you, and like you're just you have to nothing. The only reason why people would like understand that there's something's going wrong is if we tell you that something's going wrong. If we're all happy and we're all having, the most wonderful time, like, that's what we're trying to present to you anyway, so stuff will always go wrong, and if you're prepared for it, then
just on that note, when I was at the Mav City concert last year, the whole PA front of house like just rebooted.
Nice.
I don't know the technical side of what, but just it did not sound good. And then you can just see a little bit of chaos and people looking around. And then it shot back up. So it was interesting. But mistakes happen. Reboots happen.
And stuff will always break too. Which, you can never prepare for that. So
No, that's
that's
cool.
sick. Great example.
And then the last thing that I think we have time for, it's a question I love to ask, is what's one piece of advice you want to leave specifically now for worship drummers? Maybe these are young or old, but they're playing in church. Maybe they're not going to come to an arena like this. They're just, week to week serving faithfully. What's a word of advice you want to encourage them with or impart to them?
I'd say, without a doubt, just enjoy, playing music and being able to play the drums. And, I think, it's such a wonderful expression of worship to the Lord. And it's such like, for me, it's like, it almost feels like whenever I'm playing at church, it almost feels like I'm cheating because it's so much fun, But it's like, that's, the Lord wants us to serve with such joyful hearts, So our way of doing that is just to go up there and just, have fun, just be able to worship, and just enjoy the sound of the drums and enjoy the, the camaraderie of the music, and the intertwining of all of our parts, from drums and bass and guitar. Like, that's what the Lord wants us to do. He wants us to lift our abilities and talents to Him, and He wants us, to be able to have our skills like that, and he wants our hearts to be completely open, you know, for what he has to do.
Yeah, man.
So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Malachi, thanks, man. For anyone watching, if they want to find you on socials or anything like that, where are you at?
Just hit my Instagram. It's your boy, just like phonetically, like how it's spelt. And then it's Malachi. If you don't know how to spell that, just open up your Bible and find the book.
Read the book.
Boom!
All right.
Go read your Bible.
We're going to get ready for dinner.
Yes.
We're excited for tonight. Again, thank you for having us out on the Child of God tour stop in Toronto. So we'll catch you in a little bit. God bless you guys.